West Nile TV. Meyuder Ingamwa. West Nile TV. Meyuder Ingamwa.
Hello, it is Kokoliriko live on West Nile TV. My name is Opingopi Yusuf Andabati, and we are lighting the region. And this very day today, we have a very powerful guest with whom we want to light up the region, and with specific interest to the northern part of West Nile region. We are talking about the district in this country that hosts the largest, population of refugees in this country, and we have the LC5 chairman, who by profession is a teacher, and he is the LC5 chairman for Yumbe district, and that is none other than Honorable Abdul Mutwalib Asiko. He is in this office for the very first time, and we are here to discuss matters of Yumbe district. We want to shine a light on Yumbe district and bringing the spotlight on Yumbe district and a number of issues to do with Yumbe district this very day today. Honorable Chairman, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you. It's my pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy Opingopi. Yeah. It's my pleasure to also have my maiden appearance in West Nile TV.
Okay, and that is the gentleman with whom we're going to be discussing a number of issues this very day today, and you are most welcome. You can keep tweeting. We are on West Nile TV, yeah, that is on Twitter, and also West Nile TV on our Facebook page. We are on YouTube as well, West Nile TV. You can catch us on Star Times channel 477, West Nile TV, lighting up the region. Now, Chairman, let's look at Yumbe, the development in Yumbe. From 2012, people knew Yumbe as war-ravaged area. And looking at the development that has taken place now, from 2012 to this day, how is the situation on the ground? How would you rate the development from 2012 to now?
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator, and I really want to take this opportunity to thank West Nile TV for this special invitation, because this is very rare. I think that is confidence that you invested in me as one of the key political leaders in this region, and I do pledge that we are going to work as a team in order to transform this place. Yeah. And my personal commitment as the political head of the district is to be very supportive to West Nile TV, because with the media, if we're able to work together, then we can easily lobby for more development for the region, and particularly for Yumbe district.
Yes.
As regards particularly the question that you've raised, indeed, it's very clear on the globe that for a very long period of time, Yumbe district has been characterized by political turmoil right from 1979.
1979, yeah.
This made us to move to exile when our president then, Idi Amin, was ousted. Our people of West Nile had to move to exile, and this so much affected the people of Yumbe. I want to say that the other districts, when you look at Terego, parts of Arua, most of the other districts in West Nile were not so much affected. There was a clear identity during that time that Idi Amin and General Mustafa Adris were people of Yumbe, and therefore most of our people suffered. I could say 100% of the people went either to Sudan or to Congo. I want to use this particular time to honestly thank the government of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, because we've been in exile for quite long, until 1985-86. That's when the president took over and said the people of Uganda who are in exile must come back to the country.
That is when the people of Yumbe came back.
That's when the people of Yumbe came back from exile, particularly from Sudan. And since then, 1986 up to 2000, still there's been a lot of insurgents in Yumbe district and then Aringa County. We had the challenges of West Nile Bank Front. We had the challenges of UNRF2.
Yeah.
We had the challenges of armed robbers
Within the district.
within the district. And this honestly posed a serious challenge for us. Up to 2000, when the government of Uganda, around 2002,
Yes.
when the government of Uganda signed a comprehensive peace agreement with the UNRF2, that's when Yumbe became very stable.
And that was the last rebel group in
That was the last
in this district.
Yeah, that was the last rebel group in Yumbe district.
Yeah.
As I talk now, relatively, Yumbe is very secure. Obviously, we cannot say 100% because you expect when a place is developing, you expect people who are normally involved in criminality to also look at way of survival, but that is
Opportunities within the development.
Yeah, they look for opportunities within the development in order to survive. So I want to say that right now, generally, Yumbe is relatively peaceful, and we are looking at how do we now look at the relative peace to spur development of the district.
Okay. Looking at the development from 2002 to date and the years before 2002, how would you rate the two? Are they still the same, or we have, as a district, moved some steps forward?
I want to say that as a district, we've moved very far.
Okay.
We've moved very far from 2000, actually from 2000
Yes.
up to now. We've moved very far. Before Yumbe became a district, by then Yumbe was still a county, Aringa County.
Within under Arua.
Under Arua.
Okay.
I want to report to you that we had less than 60 primary schools that were government aided. We had only one secondary school that was not even one secondary school. By then, Yumbe SS was in Arua, though it was called Yumbe SS, but it was within
Arua.
So there was no government secondary school. Among the tertiary institutions that we had, it was only Lodonga Core PTC. But because of insurgents, it was not very clear in handling its mandate to train teachers. It was not very clear. So those were the challenges we have. Our safe water before then was less than 20% safe water coverage.
Okay.
It was less than 20%. The conditions of the roads were extremely poor, as if there was no government. But from 2000 to date, when Yumbe became a district, the fact that now resources that were originally managed by Arua district are now being managed by the people of Yumbe, the elected leaders and the civil service. At least we see that there is a quite considerable improvement in social service provision.
Okay.
In terms of safe water coverage now, we are talking of Yumbe standing from about 20% some time back, now 48%.
48%.
That is the safe water coverage we have. And we are talking of 48% simply because of our high population. The population of the people of Yumbe, the host communities, is as of now projected at about 699,000. The population of refugees as of now is 241,000. So we are talking of a population of close to a million. That is struggling over services. So when we talk of 48%, it is simply because of the high population that we have. Otherwise, looking at the number of boreholes, the number of piped water systems, and also the other specific interventions in water, at least we are seeing that there's quite a considerable improvement. Certainly, this is still below.
It's still below average.
The national average, because the national average as of now is 68%.
68%, yes.
I want to thank government of Uganda through Ministry of Water that this financial year and the next financial year, there are programs regarding developing piped water systems in some key rural growth centers.
Okay.
I think that will be that will help us to step up the coverage from 48.
Could you be able to mention some of these rural areas that you're talking about that is yet to get the water system?
Yeah, we have already production wells have been drilled in Lomunga.
Okay.
We have production wells that have been drilled in Aoba. Production wells have been drilled in Nyori. Production wells are drilled in Adibo. Production wells are drilled in Goboro. Production wells are also drilled in Irodo. So these are production wells which are going to be improved into providing piped water for those communities around.
Yes.
So, this.
Besides these piped water systems that are going to be drilled in the places that you've mentioned, are there provisions for borehole system to be given also in the communities?
Yes, like this financial year. Under the sector conditional grant, we are going to drill 20 boreholes for this financial year. And we have also development partners that are involved in providing safe water for consumption and other wash-related activities.
Yeah.
We have East African ministries. I want to honestly thank East African ministries. This is a partner that is providing wash activities in the district. When you look at their interventions, in a financial year, you find them drilling over 60, 70 boreholes, just in a financial year. So when you look at the interventions of government, the number of boreholes they drill in a financial year is much more than the number of boreholes as the government will have drilled in 3 or 4 financial years. Okay. So that intervention alone, I see that if they are going to be in the district for about a good number of years, the issue of boreholes will be a done deal for us. And we have also other partners like Rotary Club. Just last week, they committed that they are going to drill 5 boreholes just within this period. So interventions that are specific to wash activities in the district, and also the implementing partners that are in the refugee settlement areas are also involved in providing wash-related activities.
Okay, you just talked about before 2002, before 2000, the number of secondary schools, there were none in the district before the district became a district. How is the situation now? Do we have secondary school? Do we have tertiary institutions that the people can benefit from as of now?
Yeah, moderator, indeed, you are very right that right now as I talk, we have very many public secondary schools, very many of them. If I can mention, we are talking of Yumbe Secondary, we are talking of Riga Secondary, we are talking of Odaveses, we are talking of Midigo, we are talking of Ukuru, we are talking of Barakala Seed, we are talking of Romogi Seed, we are talking of Apple Seed, and the Lodonga Seed has just been completed, though there are some few areas that the contractor needs to fix, but already a government school. And many others. This financial year, we have 2 city schools government is going to construct in Yumbe district. We have a city school in Drajeni. We have also a city school in Kerwa. There are 2 city schools government is going to construct this financial year. And the government policy now is that every sub-county that does not have any government secondary school should be having a secondary school. The fact that we have a good number of sub-counties and town councils, I'm very optimistic that we'll be able to meet these demands of government as long as we're able to get the necessary resources on an annual basis.
Okay. What about the tertiary institutions?
Right now, as I talk, we had the Lodonga PTC, but the number of tertiary institutions has increased. We are talking of local polytechnic. Yeah. We are talking of Kano Nasu Izaruku Technical Institute. These are institutions that have been coded by government, and the funding, everything is being supported by the government. So these are very powerful technical institutions. The only challenge that we have is still enrollment. In these institutions.
I was actually coming to that.
That's the challenge that we have. Maybe I will use this opportunity to call on the people of Yumbe and also the entire people of West Nile that the technical school at the local PO is not for only the people of Yumbe. Actually, when you look at the people who have enrolled there, Mostly there are people coming from Lango sub-region.
From across the Nile.
From across the Nile.
Yeah.
Instead, this is an initiative that is supposed to benefit the people of West Nile. So my appeal is that government is looking at vocationalizing education, and already the institutions are there. Where we are not able to get the necessary resources to go to other levels for white-collar jobs, the only solution is for us to go to these technical institutions so that we get the skills that can help us be employed. Otherwise, when you look at the job market now, you get your degree, you get your master's, you still look for where to be placed. But once you have those skills, as you wait for the white-collar jobs, you can still employ yourself. So my appeal to the people of West Nile is that we should be able to enroll in these technical institutions to get the necessary skills for this century.
Okay. Why do you think the enrollment is low in these tertiary, these technical institutions that we have in Yumbe?
Basically, I see that it is mindset, attitude, that technical education is for those who are presumed to be average or low learners, those with the, I could say, low intelligence coefficient. Those are the people who are considered. But right now, if we want to get the best engineers, the best engineers, because I'm a teacher, and I'm also a teacher of physics and mathematics. I know what it means. If someone goes to the engineering course after senior 6, and someone goes for an engineering course through technical schools, you see that this will be the best engineer ever. So my appeal is we must not underestimate, we must not undermine the technical institutions that we have in the region. We should be able to impress, because if you want to become one of the best engineers, that's the way to go.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the refugee situation. Yumbe district hosts the largest number of refugees in the country. Should be even probably in the Eastern Africa.
Actually, the Yumbe is hosting in terms of the number of figures, we are the third highest in the whole world.
In the whole world. This is quite some number. And this is some generosity from the people of Yumbe. How is the relationship between the host communities and the refugees in the district?
You know, this is not the first time Yumbe district is hosting refugees. Actually, before Yumbe even became a district, when it was still in the county, we've been hosting refugees. We hosted refugees in Adanga when Yumbe was still a county. We hosted refugees in Ikafe. We hosted refugees then in Biribidi. So it's not the first time, and we know that when we look at the refugees that we are hosting in Yumbe district, these are not people from very far. They are South Sudanese. We have the Kokus in Kerwa sub-county. These are our own brothers. So when the refugees, when the South Sudanese come into Uganda and particularly in the district, we look at them as our brothers and sisters, and therefore they integrate freely into the communities without any challenge. That's why you get to appreciate that since we've been hosting refugees, there's no conflict between the host communities and the refugees themselves. Instead, you get conflicts between the refugees themselves because of their own historical backgrounds from wherever they are, but there are completely no conflicts between the refugees and the host communities. And they are very receptive. I want to say on lighter note, that sometime back I was interacting with one of my key supporters around that side of Swinger, and he called me, he also put me in line with the wife. The wife was not speaking in Aringa, she was speaking in Koku and English language. That these are the benefits
intermarriage
of us hosting refugees in the district. So intermarriage has become very common and people are moving on without any challenges.
Some intervention measures by by donors, by these NGOs, are they benefiting both the host communities and the refugees? And to what degree are the host communities benefiting from the presence of the refugees?
I can say that yes, the development partners that are operating in Yumbe and particularly responding to refugee operations as host communities, we are benefiting from them to some extent. And I can also say to some extent, we have not been benefiting from them. Right now, as I talk, Mr. Moderator, I'm a member of the Comprehensive Refugee Response Framework Steering Group. I represent the LC5 chairpersons of the Refugee Hosting District, okay, in the steering committee, whose chair is the Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees. Some of the critical issues that we are discussing now is during the emergency period, there was the policy of refugees getting services up to 70% and the host communities getting services to 30%. The fact that they provide land and they also provide enabling environment for the refugees. That has been the talk. But this, in our view, particularly for Yumbe, when we look at what's happening, the statistical information, the population figures, Yumbe, in terms of the host community population, we are talking of 700,000. The refugees are about 240,000. So, as a mathematics teacher, we are talking of a ratio of 1:3 or 1:4. If the partners, the implementing partners, are providing services to refugees at a proportion of 70%, and the host communities are getting 30%, this means that the aspect of sustainability of these projects, when refugees are repatriated back to Sudan, will be a challenge. And these are some of the challenges that we have experienced previously when we hosted refugees. So this initiative of the Comprehensive Refugee Response Framework, in my view, should be able to categorically emphasize on the issue of sustainability of these projects once the refugees are repatriated. Because we don't expect the refugees to indefinitely stay in Uganda. Time will come when they will be repatriated. But how do we sustain these projects? That's one of the key issues. And we are pushing for, instead of 70-30 ratio, we are talking of at least 50-50. So that if it comes to social services, providing safe water, providing livelihood support programs, providing employment, and many other related socioeconomic activities, we must be able to look at the ratio of 50-50. So that at least people are able to own these projects once the refugees are repatriated to Sudan. I want to talk out of experience that during the time the refugees were hosted in a cafe refugee settlement, I was the secretary for Works and Technical Services.
In the district council?
In the district council.
Okay.
The period from 2006 to 2011. I was also the secretary for production and marketing. I was supervising these two key sectors. But one of the challenges that we experienced when the refugees were repatriated to Sudan was the issue of sustainability of those projects and how we own those projects. Like we had secondary school at a cafe. Right now, if you go to a cafe as you're going to Okuban, yes, you see a structure just on top of that hill, on the right as you're going to Okuban. That was a secondary school. When the refugees were repatriated to South Sudan,
it has been left in ruins.
It was just left like that. That's why each time I meet with the partners, I emphasize the issue of sustainability of projects. I emphasize issue of effective coordination. Because we find some partners simply coming in to talk about inception of projects. But after talking of the inception, why don't we look at also the issues of review of these projects? Why don't we involve leaders, both technical and political, in monitoring these projects? Why don't we involve? Sometimes when they come up with the write-up of these projects, before these projects are submitted to donors for funding, in my view, I would wish that they consult the leaders on ground so that the leaders will be able to inform them of the technicalities, the sustainability component, and the rest of it. So those are some of the issues. So in summary, I can categorically say that we have greatly benefited from the presence of refugees in Yumbe district. The gaps have been so small, and the office that I hold is responsible for plugging these gaps because I represent the people of Yumbe as the political head, and therefore giving guidance to the partners on what is to be done so that our people are also able to benefit is the cardinal responsibility of the political head, who is the LC5 chairperson. I want to commit that we are going to address some of those gaps that existed, which made the people of Yumbe not to benefit from the greater refugee response activities.
Okay. looking at this, there was the aspect of employment.
Yes.
That previously there was an uproar, even before you became the LC5. People went up to the extent of, bringing down signposts of, some of these development partners who were helping the refugees, because in their view, they have not been provided employment opportunity in the camps. So how is the situation now? And what would you say about that?
Yeah, indeed, the situation was not good, and personally, I want to condemn the way it was done, because recruitments then were during the emergency activities. But as I talk now, most of the NGOs have settled with their staff. We are not looking at maybe replacements, but massive recruitment, as was the case during the emergency activities, is not there. But our people missed. If you look at, I'm already engaging the NGOs. I'm about 4 months in office. I'm engaging with those key NGOs in the district to look at what is the benefit when it comes to employment. How many of our own boys and girls have gotten into their systems? That's what I'm doing now. But it's quite unfortunate that in some NGOs, you don't see our own people. And right now, government policy, Office of the Prime Minister, and even UNHCR has come up with a policy of localization agenda. When we talk of localization agenda, we are not only talking about empowering the local NGOs or the CBOs that are working in a district, we are also talking about how do we use the available human resource. Because we have boys and girls who have gotten to school, who have got the necessary requirements, and what we only need is to give them the chance to serve the people. It has been very unfortunate that most of these boys didn't get into the employment within the NGO world. But I'm steadily engaging them to see that the employments that are going to be during this period, at least our boys and girls must be considered. That's the position I'm emphasizing to them, and I want to say that already there are some few who have started complying. It's our mandate to also appraise the NGOs. It is the mandate of the district local governments to do engagement on quarterly basis to see how NGOs within the district are faring. And we are going to do an appraisal of these NGOs. Those that will not be able to comply with the mandate and the requirements of the district will find where to work. I want to quote an example. When the President General of DP, Honorable Norbert Mao, was the district chairperson of Gulu, he dismissed quite a good number of NGOs that could not disclose resources to the district, that were doing things in hiding. And exactly, I did commit myself, the people of Yumbe, that I'm going to, during this period, appraise NGOs based on their level of commitment. Those that will be committed to serving the entire population, including refugees, those are the NGOs we are going to work with. Otherwise, government is talking about decentralization. If we are talking of decentralization, where do you get these boys and girls who have graduated from different institutions to get the jobs? First, they need to get the experience from their own areas, from West Nile districts, and your own districts. But if these opportunities are not there, and we don't advocate for them, then it means that these boys will not appreciate the essence of being in school. And even the parents who have invested their resources will look at it as a waste of resources. But now, moderator, I want to tell you that this could be the scenario for the whole of West Nile, but particularly in Yumbe. If you look at the perception of some people regarding those who have gone to school, have gotten papers, and are not employed, the perception is becoming negative.
Many are saying school is overrated.
That's what they're saying. Because people expect, after graduating from universities or institutions of higher learning, you need to get some placement. And honestly, in some villages, in some sub-counties, in some parishes, you find that there is one graduate. And this will be an example for the rest, and a motivator for the rest. And if this one graduate fails to get the job, now what do you expect from the rest? Those are some of the challenges. So it's a challenge to me as a political head of the district. It's a challenge to all the political leaders of Yumbe and the technical officers in the district. So that we put our minds together and see what strategic things do we need to do in order to expand the employment market for our people. So that at the end of the day, we are able to improve the economy of the communities.
Okay, all right. There was, talking about refugee area, you made a mention of a cafe. I want to know, before we go for a break, there was a cafe police training school. Is it still existing? This is in your district. Give us some highlight on that.
Yeah, after repatriation of refugees to South Sudan, because initially we knew that that was a settlement area, and we also needed to attract government institutions into the district. And one of these government institutions is having a police training in the district. It was a council resolution that a cafe now becomes a police training school. And as I talk now, that facility is there for the police as a training school. The only thing that I see is the effectiveness of it being used by the police as a training school. Because the only few moments that I've recalled that constables have been trained there are these local constables who are prepared for elections. But honestly, turning that place as a serious police training school, like what's happening in Masindi, Kabale, and others, I've not seen it. Recently, I had an interaction with the commissioner, operations, and yes, they appreciated the district for giving them land for a training school. But now the challenge is, when are you going to make it more effective? Because at the end of the day, we expect that when you make it very effective, and in case you are making recruitments into the police force, we will say that the fact Yumbe district has given a donation to the Uganda police force, free land. Now our benefit will be, if you are taking from every district a slot of 20, you should be able to get a slot of about 30. That will be the contribution of the police in appreciating the people of Yumbe.
And your view is the training should be even in Yumbe, in a cafe?
Exactly.
Okay. Now let's take a break and we shall be coming right back to have more discussion on the matter that we are discussing this very day today. I have the Honorable LC5 Chairman for Yumbe District, Honorable Abdul Twalib Asiku, and we're discussing about Yumbe District, the prospects and challenges of the district. We're shining light on this specific district that borders South Sudan. Good morning. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break, and the Kokoliriko is live on West Nile TV. We are lighting up the region. My name is Opingopi Yusuf Andabati, and we want to bring up to speed to you issues that are happening in Yumbe District, and we're looking at the prospects and challenges in Yumbe District. Honorable Chairman, January 2021 was when the President of the Republic of Uganda actually commissioned, kind of launched the mango factory, the first mango factory, I should say, in West Nile region, which is situated in Yumbe because of a number of reasons that you will tell us. And to this day, around 9 months down the road, no drop of mango juice comes out of that factory. And you're worried as the chairman about this progress.
Certainly, I'm not happy because that is one way our people will be employed.
Yeah.
And also the mangoes that we have, which have been wasted, will be absorbed and out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not happy about the whole thing. But I've been making engagements with the key people who have been behind that. The challenge of that mango factory has been the issue of ownership, securing shares. Initially, the project was started by Food and Nutrition Solutions, some professors from Makerere University. And afterwards, government got interested because those people were moving at a very low pace, and there were issues of capacity gaps in terms of resources. So government came in that factory. And when I moderator, the other challenge we've been having in that factory is the issue of ownership. Who is who?
In terms of shares, in terms of land?
In terms of shares.
Okay.
In terms of shares, that has been a very big challenge. And I want to say that I'm getting happy because the issue of shares is being resolved. A portion already has been given to UDC, which is representing government. A portion has been given to the fruit farmers cooperative
Of Yumbe?
Of Yumbe.
Okay.
Actually, not of Yumbe. It's supposed to be a West Nile.
The West Nile affair. Okay.
As I talk now, the mandate of actually the executives of the fruit farmers cooperative has expired. We are going to organize for series of engagements so that representation of the entire West Nile, because I know that given the capacity of that mango factory, the mangoes within Yumbe may not be enough. We need mangoes of all the West Nile districts.
Okay.
Because they were saying that just in 1 hour, that machine processes close to 5 tons, just in a single hour. So this means that if we're talking of 5 tons of mangoes, and
In an
hour, we will need almost all the mangoes of West Nile so that the machine can be able to. And the issue here is something that people, the information technical officers are giving us is, though it is a mango factory, that one is simply going to process the first phase of the juice, but the final phase of the juice will also be processed elsewhere.
Not in Yumbe.
Not in Yumbe.
Oh.
I think maybe what we need to do is to continuously engage government, so that if we get the first phase of the juice, which is called pulp, I think, then the final phase, which is taken to the market for consumption, all the machines need to be within, so that we avoid these issues.
So that means as it is, as of now, if this factory starts working, it will only work on the first phase of the juice,
Exactly.
the pulp, and the rest will be taken elsewhere, probably to Namave or somewhere to be worked on.
That's what's going to happen as of now.
Now, this brings us to the aspect of the industrial land, the industrial park that you gave. Did you give this with the idea that probably they should be able to build another factory that can process the second phase of the mango product that we're talking about?
Absolutely, this has been a dream of government, that we must move the economy from where it is now to middle income economy.
Yeah.
But this can only be possible if we attract investment. So it was a dream of the district council there that we need to secure land for industrial park, because already the government was talking of moving, instead of over-concentrating factories and industries within Kampala, Jinja, and the greater Kampala metropolitan area, there is a need to also take these industries or factories to other places. So when that idea came, we were like, as a district, we need to get prepared. Land was secured at a Kulawere for industrial park, and the titles were secured by the district.
Already?
By the district already. Actually, right now as I talk, I have been from Kampala because the Minister of State for Investment and the Director General of Uganda Investment Authority wanted confirmation from the district that land is available. And they took the letters to the Minister of State for Investment and also the Director General, confirming availability of land with titles.
Government, maybe before you go ahead, government had wanted around 5 100
Yes.
acres of land, but you may give 1,200 acres of land. I mean, what informed this decision? Is it because there's abundance of land in Yumbe, or it is because the people thought it wise that to attract government to come and invest here, they need to give extra land?
You know, even if government wanted over 5,000 or 10,000 acres of land, that land would be available in
Yumbe.
Yes. Actually, as I've been moving around, almost every sub-county is saying we have land. Every sub-county is saying we have land for investment. Every sub-county is saying we have land for settling refugees. So it means that the problem that we have in Yumbe is not a lack of land. The land is available. What we need is commitment of government. Actually, just when the state minister came of investment, when she came to the district, I was very clear to her that you people come, you make us to gather people around, and they get interested, they become excited that now this place is going to be developed. But this goes like that. Let us try to walk the talk. When something happens, when a minister comes and says there's going to be, this land is an industrial park or an industrial hub, let us try to show to the people that there's an evidence of the commitment that we had. Instead of simply leaving things to happen, people, this land we are talking about in Kokoliriko is 244 acres. And we also have land in Okoye, which is 1,000 acres. These lands are available. The one of Okoye, we are still moving towards negotiating with the landlords and also securing title, but the proposal is already there. This one of Kokoliriko, the titles have been secured. We are simply waiting from government as to when, even if they say tomorrow, they are bringing investors to come and put factories there. We don't have...
Yumbe is ready.
Yumbe is absolutely ready. So our issue is not land. People are ready. And the challenge that we have, when you move around the district, we have very many young people who are not employed. Some of these are educated, some of these have skills, and even those that don't have skills will still get employed. If you go to Kampala and look at those factories, the level of employment of the people within Kampala, you see that almost everyone is absorbed, including those who have not stepped the veranda of education. So we are looking at how do we absorb the young population, which is over 80% in the district, so that they are made more productive. As of now, the population is becoming idle. We have challenges of long, prolonged drought, where people cannot get involved in agricultural production. So if we have these factories, our young population is absorbed. That is the pride that we'll be looking at, and the economy flourishes. So those are some of the issues we are talking about. We honestly need to change the narrative of speaking theoretically and making people appreciate that indeed government has come to serve the population and the science must be there. During the recently concluded elections, Opingopi, you were there.
Yes.
If you contested possibly on NRM, I would talk to a member of parliament. You do appreciate the people of Yumbe.
Yeah.
We voted for the president 71.6% for the president. And all the MPs of Yumbe are NRM flag bearers. The MC5 chairperson is NRM flag bearer. The district councillors, the MC3 chairpersons, the political leadership of Yumbe is close to 99% NRM. And therefore, in 2026, we need to provide clear accountability to the people. And what clarity can you give? When you talk of road infrastructure has improved, when you talk of investment in factories, and therefore our young population has been absorbed in the job market, when you talk of safe water coverage being improved, when you talk of government policy now is that every health sub-county should have health center 3. We have 26 sub-counties. When you look at the 26 sub-counties, there are 11 sub-counties and districts that do not have health center 3. Out of the 11,
Out of the 26.
out of the 26. Out of the 11 sub-counties without health center 3, we have 7 that only have health center 2, and we need to upgrade these health center 2s to health center 3s as regards the policies of Ministry of Health. There are 4 sub-counties that don't have any single health facility, be it health center 2. We need to upgrade, we need to get resources in order to make these sub-counties have health center 3. Where do we get the resources? Government should be able to come in. These are some of the issues. We will continue to engage with the ministries and also the technical officers in the ministries, so that we get to see that things must change and we provide accountability when at least there are evidences to that effect.
Okay. Now, talking about the health facilities, health centers that you just made mention of, the government, the president also commissioned Yumbe Hospital. How is it now? Is it working fully? Because this is supposed to be one of the regional hospitals in the region. According to the capacity, though, it's Yumbe District Hospital. So how is it working now? Are people benefiting from this health facility that the government has put in place? What is taking place there? Take us up to speed with it.
Moderator, I want to, before moving to that question, I want to honestly thank the government of Uganda. If you look at Yumbe Hospital, now it's not a general hospital, it's a regional referral hospital. And in the whole of Uganda, when you look at sub-regions, it's only West Nile sub-region that now has 2 regional referral hospitals.
Yumbe and
Arua. And honestly, if you go to the installations, the design, and everything within Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital, you see modern designs. Extremely powerful hospital with installations and everything. This is contribution of government, simply because Yumbe has had challenges for quite a long time. I want to thank government for this. The challenge that we have now is about operationalization
of the hospital.
The president commissioned the hospital on 8th of January when he came for campaigns.
Yes.
We got a letter from PS Minister of Health operationalizing the hospital by 1st July.
Which has passed. And as I talk now, we have started using the hospital, but at very small scale. At a low rate.
Imagine that this is a regional referral hospital, which is supposed to serve the other districts of West Nile. Case in the point is Koboko, because Koboko is close to Yumbe. We have Yumbe district, we have Obonge, we have Wajumani, we have Moyo. These are districts that are...
We even have Terego nearby.
Yes. These are districts that are supposed to get services in that regional referral hospital. But as I talk now, very few of them are getting services from there, simply because we have only operationalized the outpatient department.
So somebody says, as it stands, the hospital works at the capacity of a health center 3. Is that true?
Yes, when we talk of, not even health center 3. Not even health center 3, because in health center 3, we sometimes talk of a general ward. A general ward is there, and a maternity ward is there. Sometimes you admit. But most of the services that we have now are of outpatient services. People come, get medical attention, and go back home.
Health center 2, actually.
We can say health center 2. But the concern that we have...
Do you think all these facilities, all these equipments that are in place are going to waste?
Absolutely, if the government cannot put resources. The challenge that we have now is about resources. We have always been comparing this. Last financial year, Yumbe Hospital and Kayunga Hospital were constructed under the same funding and the same contractor. But because of sometimes politics at that level, at ministry level, at parliament level, that politics has not favored the regional referral hospital. Just in the sense that last financial year, Kayunga Regional Referral Hospital was given money for its operationalization. But Yumbe Referral Hospital did not receive The money that the hospital is receiving now is for a general hospital. And the IPF for a financial year is 605 million. That is the IPF we have for a full financial year. Meanwhile, when you look at the analysis the technical officers in the hospital have made, the hospital requires about 10 billion in wages. And the hospital requires about 6.5 billion in non-wages. And we are talking of, in a financial year, close to 16 billion.
Do you think the government has the capacity to clear all this that you're talking about?
We had what happened was the PS Minister of Health wrote to PS Minister of Finance, because this is what they call having a vote. The hospital has a vote. The hospital, now, just last week, we received a team from Health Service Commission to validate the staff who were already in the hospital. The staff are being validated. We are just waiting for the results from Health Service Commission. These two are confirmation to that this is a regional referral hospital. Minister Health wrote to us as LC5 chairpersons to nominate members of Hospital Management Board, which we've done. So this means that we've gone very far. The issue is getting resources to operationalize the entire system. As I talk now, the COVID wave, we have had challenges in Yumbe. We could not bring all those people who were COVID positive to Arua Treatment Center. What we locally did was to have a treatment center in Yumbe. And
within the district? Within
the district. And these treatment centers are being facilitated by Ministry of Health and Ministry of Finance. But because this was a treatment center not recognized by government, we were depending on the goodwill of donors to support the people in the treatment center. And up to now, we still have the treatment center. As I talk now, there are about 24 patients at the treatment unit.
COVID positive.
COVID positive. We need this hospital to be operationalized. And we've been keeping them in Local Technical Institute. Now that the post-secondary institutions are starting on 1st November, we need to get a place where those COVID positive patients have to be taken. And the district task force made a decision that from Local they should be taken to the hospital.
The hospital.
Because we have the isolation unit there. And by next week, Wednesday, I want to say that that's the decision we are going to take. They will be transferred.
With this mega financial, the mega finance that the district health hospital is getting, could it be because there is not much follow-up being done from the district to the ministry? I mean, what could the problem be?
My brother, we are pushing. We are pushing. Recently, we had a team of MPs of Health Service Committee, HIV/AIDS.
That came to the district.
They came to the district, and I emphasized this. Some time back, we had a group of MPs on HIV, who were moving around to monitor activities of response to COVID-19, in which the chairperson Health Committee, Honorable Ayume Charles, was a member of this. Actually, was the chair of that committee. I emphasized this. I have moved it to Kampala and met the Minister Health about this. We have had an engagement meeting with the MPs of Yumbe District, and we've also told them to engage the MPs of West Nile. Yes. Because this is not a Yumbe affair now. When it's a regional referral hospital, it's not a Yumbe business. It is a business for West Nile, and therefore the West Nile Parliamentary Caucus must take interest in ensuring that some of these strategic West Nile issues are followed. So I'm very optimistic that next financial year we should be able to get the funding. But recently we had the regional workshops, budget conference workshops. The budget call circular that was issued by PS Minister of Finance did not reflect IPFs for Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital and also Kayunga Regional Referral, although clandestinely Kayunga is getting money but not using their vote.
Do you think somebody is sabotaging your district deliberately from somewhere?
I don't want to say this. What we'll do is on our part as political leaders, we'll continue to push with the Minister of Health and Minister of Finance. I'm optimistic that the fact that this is our government, and the government also needs services to go to the people. Government invested a lot of resources in the construction of that hospital. I'm optimistic we'll be able to succeed.
Okay, there was the plan to construct Koboko Yumbe Moyo Road. Some section of affected persons have been compensated, though others are yet to. But for some time this has not taken shape. Previously they blamed it on COVID. Now that a lot of restrictions have been eased, what is the plan on this road that we're talking about? And to what extent will Yumbe Town benefit from the construction of this road?
Yeah, we are engaging Uganda National Roads Authority. Actually, recently, around August, I went and fixed an appointment with the Executive Director of Uganda National Roads Authority, and it was the same time also the West Nile Parliamentary Caucus fixed an appointment.
Still on the same? On
the same, about the condition of roads, UNRWA roads in West Nile. We had a fruitful engagement, and there's commitment that because as of now, what is standing is that World Bank and Government of Uganda have signed consent agreement. For the construction of that road. The money is available. Sometimes I blame our technical people. The issue of simply getting a contractor to begin construction works, because more than 85% of the people along that road have been compensated.
How do we compensate people without procuring a contractor? I mean, procuring somebody to work on the road?
No, the component of compensation is different from getting a contractor to do the real execution of works.
Okay.
Actually, the compensation is supposed to be done first before the construction takes place.
Okay.
So the issue here is taking too long, the bureaucracies of taking too long in procuring a contractor. That's the challenge. Otherwise, the commitment that we got from UNRWA is that from next financial year, they are going to get a contractor to begin doing the works. And in my view, that is too far. Because when we talk of next financial year, we are talking of July next year.
And this is a process that started probably 2020, 2019. Yeah.
When you look at, right now it's rain season, you move from Koboko, Yumbe, you'll not like it. Contractor on the ground doing routine works, but the condition of the roads, given the heavy traffic on that road, honestly needs tarmacking. Just recently, we also had it in our CRRF steering group meeting, that these are refugee roads, and therefore money has been committed. Government should fast track getting contractors so that the works are executed. Just recently, we had an engagement with the technical officers from Ministry of Health. They were saying if it takes long to tarmac that road, the stretch from Kurus Primary to around the Kuru Islamic Primary.
Yes.
If that stretch is not tarmac, with the heavy traffic on that road, some of those machines are going to be affected. And these are very expensive because of dust. Yeah. And these are very expensive machines. You lose like this, you will not get a replacement in the shortest time.
Okay. Now, if this construction commences, is there a plan by the district to kind of dig deeper and benefit maybe tarmac stretches of the road within the town council? Like, for example, Arua City benefited from that. If you look at the road from, Emmanuel Cathedral to town center, they benefited from the Vura Oraba road project. Is that in plan for Yumbe district?
Yeah, that's in the plan. Actually, what the executive director indicated to us is that there is a stretch of 10 kilometers that is going to be for the town council.
Okay.
But the unique thing that we have in Yumbe is this road passes through 3 town councils. We have Rodonga Town Council there, we have Kuru Town Council, and we have Yumbe Town Council. If you have a stretch of 10 kilometers, how is it going to be distributed? That's the challenge we have. Actually, what I've done is to petition the executive director, UNRWA, so that we look at the fact that we have 3 town councils. At least the number of kilometers should be raised to either 20 or 30, so that those town councils that are within this road should all benefit. But certainly, this also comes with the costs involved. We'll continue to push it with the MPs. I'm optimistic that something will come out of it.
Okay. All right. Now, we'll take a break. But before we take a break, I want to bring you up to speed that this very day today, we're having a discussion with the Honorable LC5 Chairman for Yumbe District, Honorable Abdul Talib Asiku, and we're discussing Yumbe District and West Nile at large as far as development is concerned. He's telling us a number of things that, we are not aware about. You should be able to enjoy this very day today. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that break. The Kokoliriko Live is on West Nile TV, and we are in the last segment of the discussion this very day, and I have the Honorable LC5 Chairman for Yumbe District, and we're discussing a number of issues here this very day. And Honorable Chairman, let's look at the prospect of business and looking at the market centers that we have in Yumbe. There's the main market in Yumbe, plus a number of other market spots outside of the district center. What is the business prospect that anybody can benefit from within you?
In terms of business prospect, I can say that there is a potential. Because with the refugees in a place, with the population of the host communities, I see that the market is there. And sometimes even those markets are not enough.
Okay.
Like I was doing some survey, I went, there are 4 big markets in Yumbe. Okay. We have Okubani Market, we have Merwa Market, we have Lodonga Market, we have Yumbe Market. These are
main market now.
Yeah, Yumbe main market. Yeah. These are big markets in the district. Under smallholders agricultural development program, some small structures were put in the Lodonga Market and in the Merwa Market. Yumbe main market still hasn't been constructed to the level in which the district is now because of lack of resources. Just recently, we have a program called the Development Initiative for Northern Uganda. They had a plan of constructing the market, but the budget, the IPF, the indicative planning figure for that, was too small. The fact that this is a big market. Yeah. Yesterday, I was with the Minister of State for Local Government, and she indicated to me that there are some few slots for markets to be constructed, and she indicated to me that I should write requesting for construction of Yumbe main market. Yes. And that's what I'm going to do immediately, because we need a modern market. If you go to Yumbe main market now, and even Okubani, and these other key markets, you see people suffering. You see women, because most of the business people within these markets are women. You see them suffering. And sometimes will not love to go to the markets because of that misery. Recently, I was in Okubani market. You just look at the situation, it's so alarming. The sun heat, people struggle to sell their merchandise. It's so alarming. And therefore, there's need, honestly, that we construct these markets. And we are going to continue lobbying. At least a facility has been put in Okubani market. We have a facility in Lobe Market under Development Initiative for Northern Uganda. We have a facility in Lodonga Market, which was under Northwest Smallholders Agricultural Development Program, and the same to Merwa Market. we are going to expand on these markets. We have a challenge in the Ikuru market because of land-related problems. And the market has not been completed under government initiative for Northern Uganda.
Yeah.
We are moving to addressing that because the matter is in court, but we are trying to engage the parties that are involved so that this matter is harmonized and the resources that we have under this project should not be mishandled. So those are some of the issues. Otherwise, the business potential is there. We have, these districts are all interrelated. You have, if it is day for Kuban market, people from Terego district, people from Yube district, people from Ubongi, from Ojumani, from Moyo, all gather in Okuban market. So the market, even those from South Sudan, let alone the refugees that are settled in Yube, but those people who are settled in South Sudan,
the non-refugees
from South Sudan coming into Uganda just for these markets. So the potential is there. What remains is just getting resources to improve the infrastructure in these markets.
To what tune do you receive as a district in terms of, taxes from, in terms of revenue from these markets?
By the way, the challenge, I can clearly say, has been the issue of records when it comes to not only the revenue, local revenue the district receives from the markets, but also from other local revenue sources.
Yes.
This has been a challenge, but we are moving towards addressing that. Because there's been leakage in local revenue collection even within the markets. So I cannot be clear to say that in these markets we collect this to this tune, but just within this financial year, the IPF that we have for local revenue from all the local revenue sources is 800 million.
800 million.
And this is simply because there seems to be leakage in collection of local revenue and also the policies of government that are involved. Right now, government wants the money to be collected and taken to
the central treasury.
And this money will also be appropriated by Bank of Uganda back to the districts and the sub-counties. And this makes it very difficult for lower local governments to operate. Sometimes instead of declaring 100% collections, now they end up under declaring because they also want to continue operating. The challenge now we have is even the new administrative units that have been created. Ministry of Finance is saying they don't have money to operationalize them.
And yet you read...
And elections were organized.
Yes.
Elections were organized. These sub-counties have political leaders, have fully fledged political leadership. The sub-county executive committee, the town council executive committee, the councils, all these ones are there. If we're saying that there's no money to operationalize and the elections are organized, people have been sworn in, what does it imply legally? So we are saying, let us continue to operationalize. Whether the resources are not there, the leadership must be there, and we continue pushing government to look for where resources can be obtained so that at least the things are done. But in the meantime, the bureaucracies that are involved in management of local revenue between the sub-county local governments, district local government, and Ministry of Finance is making it very difficult for lower local governments to clearly declare how much as in local revenue they collect from markets, they collect from other local revenue sources. So that's the biggest challenge we have.
Okay.
And I'm hopeful that if Ministry of Finance harmonizes its position, because recently there was a pronouncement of Parliament that local revenue should not be remitted to Ministry of Finance.
It should remain.
It should be appropriated at local level. And once this is done, I know that the local revenue base that we have, we will not be talking of 800 million in a financial year.
We'll be talking about
more than that. About 1.5 billion. Actually, my projections are about 1.5 billion if leakages are minimized.
Okay. Talking about new entities that were created and elections were done, and the ministry is saying there's no money to, for the personalization of some of these entities, the new town councils, the new sub-counties. We talk about area, we talk about a number of those in the district. Are they now operating under mango trees? And what does this mean for your administration?
Yeah, as of now, I can say that most of those new administrative units are operating under mango trees, but we are moving towards putting structures for them to use. I'm very sure by the end of next financial year, they should be able to have offices. We have a number of programs that are geared towards that. We have USMID for refugee hosting districts. Resource centers are being constructed, and our projection is that where a sub-county does not have a headquarter, the resource center can be used in the meantime as we continue to look for resources. Then we have the DDEG, District Development Conditional Equalization Grant. The DDEG, though right now the figures have been affected because of introduction of parish development model. Those sub-counties that don't have headquarters, what we did at the gentleman's level was to talk to the sub-county leadership so that those that do not have the headquarters, let us take this to those that do not have 100% or about 90%, so that they're able to put a structure which can house them as we continue moving on. So these are innovations that we do at local level, which Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Local Government are not appreciating because they don't know the challenges as leaders on ground we are facing. When you engage them, sometimes they think that you are simply talking from your own point of view, not representing the views of the people you have been voted to lead.
Yes. Now, talking about, let's just dive a little bit into the aspect of the new project that the government is bringing on board. The parish development model. In your view, how ready is the district for this? How are they preparing for this? You know, our parishes have not been operating the way they are supposed to operate. How is the management of these finances going to be so that the local person benefits?
The parish development model is a new initiative, and honestly, I want to say that at all levels, people are also orienting themselves, even at the Ministry of Finance level, at the Ministry of Local Government level, because the guidelines are still being designed. Right now, we have not...
It is supposed to be rolled out, but the guidelines are yet to be designed.
Exactly. But at our levels, because the guidance was that every parish must have a substantive parish chief. And as I talk now, Yumbe district has 202 parishes. We had a gap of 128 parish chiefs who were not recruited, including town agents. And just recently, this exercise was concluded. The parish chiefs and town agents are going to be appointed, and we wait for next instructions.
So all the 202 parishes are going to have
substantive officers, and these are the
the activities has been handled already.
It has been handled.
Okay.
What remains is just giving out appointment letters. This is at a Sams Commission level. So as I talk now, the recruitment of parish chiefs and town agents has been concluded. What remains is for them to receive appointment letters.
Where do they come from? Are they from outside West Nile as well, or these are sons and daughters from Yumbe district? These parish chiefs.
Honestly, being a parish chief requires that you should be able to understand the geography
of that parish and that place.
Of that parish, you should be able to understand the norms and traditions of that particular. Because honestly, these days the parishes that we create are almost at clan level. The parishes are at clan level. So if someone is not going to understand
like
the
parish,
exactly, Gaya parish, actually parish,
those are clans.
Panaja parish. These are almost at clan levels. So if someone is to be got from elsewhere to come and be a parish chief in an area which he or she doesn't know, so our interest there was 100%. This is not being selfish. I know, as West Nile, we are together. The vendor arrangement, we are together when it comes to businesses, when it comes to recruitment, but specifically for these parish chiefs, it requires locally, the people from those areas, so that they are able to monitor the things. And my instruction, to the District Service Commission was very clear that we need 100% of the 128 to be sons and daughters of Yumbe district.
Okay. Do the people that have been recruited that are waiting, their appointment letters, do they have the requirements that the ministry was looking for?
Absolutely.
The necessary requirements?
Absolutely, they have the requirements, because to be a parish chief now, they need a diploma in humanities, diploma in social works and social administration, diploma in development studies, diploma in public administration, diploma in business administration, community development, those related areas. And my brother, I want to tell you,
all these people are there.
our boys and girls have the papers, except that the jobs are not there. Can I tell you that over 400 people applied?
For the 202 positions?
For 128 positions. Over 400 people applied. And the 400 are those who have the papers. But those who had degrees and still applied, because the requirement was a diploma.
Okay.
Those who had the degrees, those who had the qualifications in other areas apart from these ones I've mentioned, all applied. There were more than 900, close to 1,000 people who applied. So the screening and the shortlisting was done for 400 people, and we needed 128. So people are there, they have the papers. The only challenge is the slots are few.
So does that, rubbish the adage that people from Yumbe don't go to school?
Honestly, if someone still has that mentality, I can say that this person needs to go to Mutavika for some time.
Okay, we're going to take a break. To conclude our discussion. But before we do that, now let's talk about, you made a mention of land conflict, hampering development. You made a specific reference to the Kuru market. The aspects of land conflict, how rampant are they in the district?
I want to say that almost getting to 5 months in office.
Yeah.
But honestly, the stress I get in my office is about land conflicts. Some elders, even there was an elder who intimated to me that you man, you are still a young man, but you are going to develop gray hairs just because of the stress regarding land that we have in the district. That shows the gravity. The seriousity that we have as regards matters of land in the district, to the extent that relatives threaten to kill each other, relatives hack themselves with the panga and the knives. Those are things that are happening. But we've been engaging them, because this is COVID period, we've been engaging them that as long as you're very contented that this land is yours, it doesn't, you hold on, be patient. Use the necessary instruments in place, the infrastructure, the government infrastructure that we have in place. Because first of all, matters regarding land are supposed to be handled by elders. What I have planned is that we have the Elders Council of the district, and this Elders Council goes up to the villages. We are going to mandate the Elders Councils to handle matters regarding land. And if they fail, then they can go to the courts of law. But in my view, going to courts of law to establish the bona fide owner of the land is not the best way to go.
Okay.
Because when the court pronounces that Opingopi, you are the owner of this land, I am not the owner, how are we going to relate? As long as there's still life, the relationship will be shower. And those are things that we need to avoid. That's why involvement of the elders in management of issues of land is very important. And I want to request that this must be the way to go. If we're going to jam courts with matters of land, there's going to be conflict in all the communities, and this conflict will not be resolved.
Do we still have honest elders that can resolve matters of land to the degree you anticipate?
It's our hope that the elders that we have must be honest, because they are the last people we resort to when it comes to management of conflicts.
Okay.
And therefore we'll continue to request them to be very honest, as it has been the case. We'll continue to emphasize that let them be very honest and engage them, so that we avoid these problems continuing.
Okay. A lot of issues to discuss, but our time is not a very good ally. And the last issue that I want you to hint on is from internal land conflicts. I want us to look at the border conflicts. There has been this bickering between Yumbe district and Moyo Yumbe district and Madio Colonel, which used to be under Arua, over Ewanga. Then there was this aspect between Yumbe that the locals are bickering about. I don't know how big it has become, between Yumbe and Koboko, over the demarcation of where the border is exactly. What would you make of all this?
Yeah, indeed, we have border conflicts, just as you mentioned, between Yumbe and Koboko. About 10-15 years ago, there were some areas that, as of now, are considered to be in Koboko administratively, when actually those areas were in Yumbe district. So these are challenges, and the same to the rest of the districts. But what we've been talking about as the chairpersons of West Nile under our big association, West Nile Development Association, what we have agreed principally is to avoid resolving border conflicts, inter-district border conflicts, mobilizing communities to rise against each other.
Okay.
We have agreed principally to engage the respective line ministries, Ministry of Local Government and the Ministry of Lands, to technically see where the exact boundaries of these districts are. In the meantime, where they are, let us avoid setting confusion.
Okay.
In 2004, there was interministerial committee that was established to look at borders within West Nile districts. And already it was clear where the borders between Yumbe and Terego are, the borders between Yumbe and Koboko, the borders between Yumbe and Moyo, and also Madokolo. This report was there, it was not actualized. Actually, what I have planned is to get a copy of this report so that I can petition the Minister of Local Government and the Minister of Lands. I'm happy that the MPs are there. They should be able to follow up so that the matters regarding land border conflicts should be resolved amicably. I want to express concern that as the West Nile leaders, there are projects that Yumbe district can execute and they extend into either Koboko, into either Obok, in the interest of providing services, because it's still the same people are getting services. If there's a project in Yumbe that is going into Madokolo, as of now, let us accept this project to proceed. I want to express disappointment that under Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development program, OSMID, because the refugee hosting sub-counties are benefiting from this arrangement. We had planned a road to come all the way from Kali, through Kiri, through Tokoro, through Okobani, to Para, in Iwanga. But just because of these border conflicts, the people of Madokolo did say that this road should not continue, we should remain stop where our current administrative borders temporarily are. I want to request, we are going to have engagement meetings.
And these are the same people living in
these are the same people benefiting.
different sub-counties.
Like now, Madokolo goes to Iwanga through Yumbe. They go through Kokoliriko, Okubani, into Iwanga. This means that we still need each other. And therefore, when you are resolving some of these matters, we must resolve them maturely. Let us avoid raising the emotions of people who don't know about this. We must look at technically, what is it saying? If technically the border is here, let us accept that and we'll move on. Because at the end of the day, we are still serving the same people.
The same people.
You see, we have the Norris in Abuku and the Norris in Yumbe. We have the Madis in Moyo and the Madis in Yumbe. You see that these are the same people. And therefore, the services that we provide, we must look at the services at strategic level as West Nile people. Not this issue of looking at getting cheap popularity. And therefore, the matters regarding land border conflicts, this will be resolved technically. In the meantime, we are going to respect the temporary boundaries that are there, but we'll continue to engage. Where there are development projects, that can stretch into any other neighboring district. We'll continue to engage with the L5 chairpersons there, and we move on.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's been absolutely a very great pleasure for me to have you on Kokoliriko Live, and thank you very much for coming through.
Thank you very much.
And if you could only wrap this up in the local language, Ergatisi, itu choriba, bragar miti alwani, juta midiskadira aluirina. Karibu.
Awat sana andra mama di umbegada mafichi joga ndala mudutisi. Ijo nda sima tujole minu pe ba minuti ndepilolo mutezita gezo saka tutakiwaza. Afe mina wat sana support mini fe mane oda do L5 chairman do se mane chega simi mina da manere e demand utofe. Sindejola services e madi umbegada kicho moke fe mine ngonero. Anira challenge mani ijo be piye berkedechi gerko kidonjonji school zikega classroom kusikiku daktari zikega afa opd kid da ijo dingare kekeche lakini eto tanga ni period yagarache amani simujo andru dikeruje mebe send government na femani asi chozi dikingare kingoni arke mamu iminiki lule tv gada daidira mamu iminiki lule radio stations kegara mava iminiki lule ngochima mujo yubegara andu madiva mambendi gama imini jo ngare kevonjera sindejola ijo madi umbegada arke lebe to kerura isele choza baldo vachi emina wat sana emine man support ferese sa do madi do vasimine zingajore.
All right, dear viewer, we've come to the end of our discussion this very day today, and I want to thank you very honestly for having taken your precious time to stay on Kokoliriko Live. And I must repeat, we are on Star Times channel 477. Catch us there and you will never go wrong. Have a nice day.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, may you dare ingamwa. 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 West Nile TV, may you dare ingamwa.